welcome to the Destiny of Your Soul. We've got Kyle Spreedy's out under the beautiful blue sky. And is that a palm tree I see behind you?
It's a nice palm tree. Been trying to get the framing right whilst you've been off camera, ladies and gentlemen. Lovely to. But what I'm doing at the moment is I'm grounding myself. Angela grounding, and my feet are have been itchy, in the shoes, and so I decided, why not have this podcast episode, find a way to do it different in another way, keep showing up but in a different way. So got my feet out. I don't know if that's very appropriate. Straight off the camera.
That is the earth. That is earth. Okay, so what you don't know is that I am actually grounded as well in the house. So
phenomenal.
I'm hooked up to my back right now and my knees. So, and I also have bare feet. But I am really sad because I found grounding shoes in and they were supposed to come from Turkey, and they were supposed to ship Monday morning. And unfortunately, there was that huge earthquake, and now more than 20,000 people, I think, have passed. So I've decided to just leave it alone and see what happens, because I'm certain they could use the support right now.
Do you want to hold a moment's prayer for all those lost?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Nice to do that every now and then with the rush.
Yeah. You never know when that moment is going to hit, right? I like to try and remember, I've got my sign today, stay curious, that even in the next moment, I don't know. I might think I know. And I think I get really good at predicting. But, somebody, I think it was one of my sisters a while ago, said, hindsight's 20/20. I said, no, hindsight's confirmation bias, because I can always tell the story the right way by looking back.
Yeah, people love that. Hey, yeah. I think people just don't want to see themselves. And that's that authenticity piece. I think authentic, then you can confront yourself. You can confront your shadow self. Confront the stupidity that you had, and confront that. The quicker you can start changing your life and life.
Yeah. Will you hold the mic closer to your mouth, because you keep breaking up a little bit?
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
You don't sound louder.
She wants me to shout this morning.
No.
Here we go. Here goes the audio setting. Shout. I just want.
Only though now we have no picture of you, so.
Thank you.
But this is actually on topic, Kyle, because today's topic. I don't know what we're seeing now, but it's very interesting. How to live. Oh, we're seeing. Oh, look at that. The earth. Yes. Oh, we were. You know what? We could go back to that a little bit. We were loving the earth earlier, and we saw that great picture of your foot with all the dirt on it, and the earth
I think
is.
That's when. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I was trying to change the audio the front camera.
Got it.
So I was trying to. But what you never know when your moment, is going to be. Part of momentum, because you can't do things like put your foot in a camera lens if you're living so constricted. I think that's you being a free spirit, knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for, and living true to that. And if people comment and hate, or showing them that I'm earthing, I got my big toe in the lens, like, how important is that? But I think most humans do live according to what other groups think. What does the news articles say? What does my family say? What does the heritage say? Like, everyone lives according to or think. But
yeah, like the social construct of what is believed to be the quote unquote right way to live. So if I do this, then I will. But part of that has to do, I think, with needing to be part of the group, part of the community. When we were in much smaller tribes. Yeah, for that. But it's not. I mean, yes and no. There's a little bit of that, but not as much in today's world. I think it's still really important to have your tribe. That, I think maybe that's the difference in today's world, is you can you can pick your tribe, and they can support you and help you live that fulfilling life that we're talking about.
Yes, exactly. And
yeah, because in your I was going to say, in your book you talk about five core aspects to a life fully realized, and you say that it's in each and every one of us. Number 1, God and wisdom. Number 2, mindset. Number 3, heroism. Number 4, heart and soul. And number 5, relationships. And then you go on to say, all of which include passions and purposes.
Definitely. All swirled up into it. And we got all swirled up. I think we missed introducing ourselves. We had the big toe at the start. Don't ask. If you're just tuning in now, you have to go back to the start. But the start, I can't tell you. But well, my name's Carl Spirides. I'm the author of the custodian of the Decide Your Destiny movement, and we've got Angela Talent, Poems from a Lost Soul. And if you've been doing an episode just based off the 22 chapters, so we've decided, we're going to do 22 episodes. That was our goal. Let's do 22 episodes. And Angela, can you bring a poem or two? Oh, we said one poem, and I think Angela just got excited and started bringing 2 poems to many shows. And the reason we came together and collaborated was the fact that we've got and I think that's an important piece, as we were talking about your tribe, as we're talking about who you connect with, living free and living you, and staying curious, and knowing that you just don't know that moment is going to happen. So it's important to not be shackled to belief systems, and kind of live and identify the direction of your life. So I think that's a really, really important point. And Angela and I, and so part of that is finding our own tribe. Now, when you hear like your own tribe, everything, we got to do everything, but it's like, I look at it like my siblings, so love them dearly, would do anything for them, but like identical pairs, we didn't go and do everything the exact same. We've got our different, we might argue, we might disagree, we might agree, but we'll always connect with each other. And I think that's what your tribe is. You've got that core mission. 22 episodes. We might disagree in some of the episodes, and Angela might speak really rude how you showed your big toe at the start of the episode. I just don't know what you're thinking. But we roll on, and we stay committed to the goal, to the end. Well, every year, for the last few years, they can be years. They can be events taking place, things being, and it can kind of shudder you and shock you, of course. So if you've got your tribe, if you've got they can hold you true to your goals, and it's so important to come back to your goal, your aims, and your direction, and the destiny where you're wanting to go. It's not just like, oh, that's my destiny, or a little goal here or there, or a New Year's resolution. No, it's like this keeps you alive in the darkest hour. If you've got your freaking down, you've got a goal, you've got a mission, you've got a destination out of there. You've got a goal, you've got a mission, you've got an urgency to move and act as fast as possible. So that's the importance of having a goal, no matter what is going on around you, no matter if the structures are falling around you.
Right. And I think I want to go back to you. I loved how you said shackled to your beliefs. I love that statement right there, because I think when we're shackled to our beliefs, then we can't see options that might be available to us that don't fit within that story that we already believe. And so I think that's why it's important to always be curious. Okay, well, what is, like if we go down your list, what does God and wisdom mean to me right this moment? What's my mindset in this moment? I love this question that Fred Blum asked, had us ask ourselves, what character am I playing right now? The same type of thing, but also like, what if I just walked around in awe? Would I see things differently? I might, right? Like, how is it? I mean, I could be in awe that I'm on this tiny little, you're on a phone outside with a beautiful blue sky behind you. I just have to keep saying that because I love the color of the sky today. And that makes a difference, right?
Thanks, God.
Yeah, there you go. Like I could be like, yeah, thanks God for that. But
and the
like every moment those things can change, those beliefs can change. And if we're not aware, then what happens is our brain, we won't see it. It might happen. So for instance, I told Kyle about earthing last week. My sister apparently brought it up to me 3 years ago. I don't even remember having a conversation with her about it. I have no idea. And then, so I thought the first time I heard about it was maybe 2.5 weeks ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago. I had no idea. Like, yeah.
I love that this is such a valid point. When you heard about that, and when you heard about it again recently, you're a different person. So changing and evolving, right? And so this is where repetition is so important. And I book, like the repetition and you repeat, like some poems sound similar or whatever, but you're repeating the action. Repetition, you might not hear it the first time. The owl might be over to you, and drop to you, but you might not open it the first time. The second time, the third, but you don't really read it. The third time you open it, but you speed read it. You didn't really get it. By the fire, you get a little bit more of it. The fifth time you read it, you read it again. You actually start allowing it to be read in your soul. It's read with your words and your analytical, but in your being. Wow, what does the sixth time you read it, you predict what it's going to say, and you know the whole letter without even looking at each individual word, but you know it. Sending me love. Oh, this person was sending me a warning. Oh, this person was sending me, you know what I'm saying? And so that, we received the communication, or we did the course, and I think society sets us up. Finish your school, and then go here, get a good job, and then and you sort it. Like, we get so poorly set up for life. because that is not what life is. And I'm hoping, I'm hoping many things. I'm hoping schooling, education, healthcare comes in. You know what I'm saying? So I really think we're not necessarily, we're set up for what schools were created for common schools, which was to go into factories to build enough produce for the society to feed on. So that's not the world that we live in, and that was set up for them. But then what happened? They I've got a friend here who's 87. He remembers all his dad. They all came back, and they all just go to the bar and drink and like. So what's the purpose? What's the next mission?
Yeah.
Your mission was to protect your country, and protect is going to get anybody motivated. You could be the laziest person in the world, and but what's the next thing once you get back? And I think that's the important aspect of realizing, once I finish school, and then I finish uni, and then I go get a job, a wife or a husband or whatever it is, and then, but like, is that it? Even a kid being told that, hey, this is what you're going to get. This, I know you're curious about this tree. You want to understand curious about grounding. I know you love the blue sky and you want to learn everything about it, and maybe draw it, maybe write about it. But hey, this is what's set up for your life. Go pass these grades. Go to this institution, pass these grades. Go get this job, pass this job. Go have this interview with this wife or husband. Pass this. Imagine like, what the hell? I want to go freaking explore. I want to express myself. I want to expand. I want to freak own thing. I want to, maybe work in an institution, but just shake it all up and like, I love that stay curious point. And what you're talking about, it really is that curiosity, that kid like interest. You said awe and wonder. A kid looks at something. How does this like toy work? How does this cup? That's the kid. It gets really, we lose that. I think we get told what things are. That tree is not a tree. That tree evil that we can eat on dinner. Go chop it down. Or whatever the case is. We get instead of the kid already knows what things are because he's experiencing the awe and wonder of things.
I think in some ways it's a lot easier to just accept that, right? What the child is being told, or for the child to just accept what is happening and not question. In fact, I think in some ways we socialize that out of the kids by teaching them in the way we teach in school, that you need to have the answer, not the question. Well, what if we gave, I love the book by Stuart Firestein, Failure, because it was that or Ignorance, where he talks about giving when giving tests, maybe what would happen if we gave the answer and then ask what's next, what, here's where we're at, what do you do next, or what do you think needs to be done next, or creating more, because scientists, that's how scientists work. They're very curious and they fail a lot, and they find interesting answers, but those answers lead to more questions. In fact, I did have one other quote. It's a little bit about time. We're talking about fulfilling life. So it says the question is not how much time do I have? The question is what has always been, what am I going to do with the concept of time that I have here? Like, what am I going to do
with
the time I have? Yeah, of course I am.
You always surprise me with these quotes. I always get so nervous for that one. So you just launched it. That's good.
I did. I just went right into it, so you didn't have to get nervous. You could get nervous after the fact. But I mean, the reality of it is, am I going to live life from a curious perspective and maybe do things differently? Or am I going to live it in what I think is safe? And I've lived in what I thought was safe for a very long time. And now I'm in this place in my life all of a sudden where it's like, what's next? I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm trying to be like excited.
Well, do you think a part of that gets stifled by what exactly I need the answer. To pass this grade, I need the answer. To getting to this,
Yeah, absolutely.
I need the answer. Where I believe, and like this is just what my grandfather shared all those years ago. 2 months before I left school, he's sitting down on the couch. He turned to me, big boy smile, and just said, "Decide your destiny." We weren't talking about anything. I said, "What are you saying?" He said, "Make sure whatever you do in your life that you decide your destiny." And like that message, I got it. It went in one ear, it went out the other, and it came many years later. But that message those 3 words, that simple message that he delivered to me, that will keep learning and unraveling more. 3 words, but I'll unravel more of the person's intention, what he meant by it, how I can decide my destiny. And so is in deciding your destiny, you're going, hey, this is where I'm going, no matter what, this is where I'm going. This house. So for instance, he built a house, or he wanted to buy a plot of land. He was an architect, and it didn't have a sewer line. It didn't have like humanity, and his whole family thought it was crazy. But he just and so out there, he didn't have the answers. He didn't have the answers. He didn't say, "Oh yeah, in about 5 years' time here, and we'll be connected to the rest of you guys," or eventually they will have like shops where you can go to grocery stores and kids can go to school. He didn't have those. He had the destination, the destiny, he had the goal, he had the vision where he wanted to go. And that kid goes, hey, I want to freaking paint. And then, hey, how are you going to do it? What are you going to... He's like, I don't care about that. Just give me the damn paint. I just want to chuck some stuff on a canvas, And it's not saying that you keep doing that. Eventually I want to chuck it like this. But you initiate the change. You disrupt current situation. And I think what happens as adults, because we don't go and do anything. And I remember when I wanted to do photography, even though I had Australia's top photographer, like Australia's number 1 photographer for the last 5 years running. And even though I wanted to go and do photography, the whole family were nervous about me and like, are you going to be able to, like, all those sorts of things. And at that stage, I didn't have those answers, but I knew I wanted to sort of action. I didn't have the answers. And then, with the book and with all these sorts of things, because they go, hey, you've got to have the answers to pass the test, the test of this exam. Yeah. You need to know the answers. You need to study the answers.
Which is only their answer for what they think. Like, I am not capable of giving an answer to my children, to anyone in my life of what they need to do. I can tell them what I think, but they are ultimately have to take responsibility for the choice they make. Like, that's the thing. Like, they can ask me, but I'm not going to push it on them. Like, you absolutely have to do this. Well, the reality of it is I don't know if that's what they really have to do. I don't know their path in life. And they're even my kids that I raise, that I love, that I want them to succeed. But if I start telling them exactly how to do it and when to do it and all those things, then they start losing themselves to what society thinks, or what I think, for actually as a mom, what I think they should do. And that's not, I don't think that's very nice. Like, I would rather have them go on a safari, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Well, if you like, see, the thing is, and there's that balance, go be free and figure it all out. And sometimes, like, hey, wait a minute, I need like some like foundations. I need some landmarks to actually hold and support me, and then go and express myself and live free and do it all.
Yeah.
But
that safety definitely has to be there. That safety, right?
And I'd say,
but making the decision.
Probably, I'd say seeds into the mind of, like, okay, so what, like, listening. Okay, what do I do? Like I don't want to go and be an accountant. I don't want to go and be a lawyer. I know I'll do that for a little while and I'll get bored, like, oh, so what do I do? Well, space, you might find something interesting that you like. The tech space, the technology space is going to be everything from our medical to our economical, like it's going to be hooked up on tech. So why don't you have a look at into that space? And then you're just kind of dropping going, you don't have to give them all the answers, but you can drop a seed. And then they forage the seed, see if the seed blossoms to what they want it to be. Stick with.
Yeah, well, and inspiring them, right? Hey, there are all these possibilities. What do you think? And if they're not sure, then I can say, well, I don't know. Maybe you want to do this. And they might go, I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. Or it might help them say, you know what? No, I don't want to do that. I really want to do this, So sometimes but I did say Safari because that is the name of one of the poems that I wrote. That actually Kyle helped with this one. He wrote the last 2 lines in this one today.
Oh, you took it on. Okay.
I did. So it's called Safari, and it goes, if your heart and soul were a safari, what would you see? How would you judge your kingdom? When would you ask your heart and soul to leap into the jungle of your destiny? You want that again?
I love it. You know it. Encore.
Okay. Encore. Okay. If your heart and soul were a safari, what would you see? How would you judge your kingdom? When would you ask your heart and soul to leap into the jungle of your destiny? That's kind of actually what we've been talking about. That's kind of what it feels like when you're trying to find your way. Like you're in this big jungle, and which direction do you want to go?
Yep. It's like that moment, I'm sure everyone, or a lot of people have seen Lion King. So I think Simba has been chased by hyenas, and he's got to jump a jungle of thorn, like bush and shrub. That leap of faith. He knows, and I think that's a nice, important message in terms of change. You know what's behind you. Hyenas that are so. What's behind you. Your current situation of I'm not good enough. I should when you started the podcast, it was like those things that all the can'ts and why you shouldn't and all those things. What's behind the low vibration of why you can't express yourself. You is jumping in the thorns. My God, if I do go and do my podcast, I might look silly and accidentally meet an Australian and he puts his toe right in the lens. All these terrifying aspects of what could go terribly wrong. I think that's a key message of and when you're going to jump into the jungle, change things. I think it's such an important thing because we forget, like you said, stay curious. We forget, when we don't change, when we don't look at that next version of evolution of who you are. When you don't go and look for that, and you stay, you're getting chewed by piranhas or hyenas, because I think it's either forward or backward,
Yeah.
And it's the same with the book, but it was like with the book, it was either going forward, I was putting energy into it, it was slow, or I wasn't doing anything with it, which means it was going backwards and it was never going to be published. And so that there were times where I was like, wow, I've neglected it, and I'm those little of maybe I shouldn't do it. Should I even share this? We're cleans. It wasn't just in stasis; it was going backwards from the vision of publishing the book. I think that's a great lesson. But I know you got another poem for us, so why don't you back to back?
Yeah, this one This one was interesting to come up with because, but I couldn't get the thought out of my mind how we fertilize our minds with what we look at, watch. Yeah. So it, yeah. So anyway, it goes, it matters what you feed your mind, especially when you think you aren't. What is the TV saying in the background? What about scrolling socials? Those messages can be weeds growing in your mind. Your heart and soul hear them when your mind does not. You must consciously decide how you want to live your life and then fertilize your mind, creating your Garden of Eden. See, I think maybe that last line could come off.
Look at you.
Here I am live going, no, I think that last line can come off.
This is good. This is what I think people want to see. It's interesting when I posted the photographs of the final edited photo, Scram or wherever, it gets so many likes. And then when I would post a photo, someone said, "Oh, you got to do some behind the scenes." Suddenly, it would just shoot up, and people would be so interested. Oh my God, I'm so glad you shared the behind the scenes. Maybe we could do next episode, and this is a challenge. Ooh. We could get you
to write it on the show. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's okay. Change. That's
I will take that. I will take that challenge.
Of thorns.
Yeah. It's definitely a thought process. I'm okay. So I will probably need to figure out. So see, like me jumping in and saying yes and not knowing what's going to happen. That's what we're talking about. And we didn't plan this, but I'm thinking I want to tie it back into the title of the episode of Living a Fulfilling Life. I won't know what it's like to come up with a poem live unless I do it. And maybe I won't like it and maybe I will, but I've never done it. So we may as well try it.
Woo, I love it. That's awesome.
Maybe awesome. Actually the listeners could come in next week and participate in what they think. You know, we can tell them a little bit of the topic. Let's see.
Lead it up.
Paul says,
and then
oh, go ahead.
Well, maybe we will they can come and comment and add their commentary whilst you're doing it. At the start, we're going to be writing. At the start of the show, we're going to be writing a poem, and it's just going to be writing. Come and help her.
Yeah, we can put that in the notes. I just want to put Paul's comment up. He says that was a great poem. Fertilize your mind with positive crops. Oh, I love that. That's fantastic, yes. Paul. Thank you.
There you go. That's your ending. See, that's your finish of the pot.
Yeah, that'll change the last. Instead of creating your Garden of Eden, it can be fertilize your mind with positive crops, or with the crops you want. What about the? Yeah. The crops. Sure. What do you think, Paul? The crops you want? I think there's a short delay. Let's see. So let's say it. Let's say it both ways and see what we think. So. You must consciously decide how you want to live your life and then fertilize your mind with positive crops. Now I'll do it again with the adjusted line and I'll say you must consciously decide how you want to live your life and then fertilize your mind with the crops you want. I like the second, the crops you want. I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yep, second one.
Second one? Okay.
What do you think, Paul?
You guys, this I hopefully I don't know how long it takes if he makes a comment for it to get here. It might take a few seconds. And hopefully he's still there. Didn't lose him. He liked number 2. Yes.
How good is that? You're editing a poem live. So next week it's just going to be writing a poem live. Step. Taking the first step.
Yeah.
Right now, which is editing.
Yeah. So what I'll do then is I can bring in usually what I read through the chapter again because I love it. I want to. It's like I have to get the feel of what I think the message you're sending, and yes. I will read. Thank you, by the way, Paul. I will read the chapter and I will come with some quotes. So that's what I do is I kind of go through and I pull out like different words and quotes, and then I come in and usually I ponder it for a little bit. I might sit there quietly and
Get your screen grab.
yeah, like it, and then we'll bring it here, like because I'll have those quotes earlier, so I'll have had some time to ponder, and it'll just be interesting putting it together live. So this is going to be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah. And see, this is a great lesson point, and maybe as we close the show out, is you're changing. Like, you've done it so many times, write a poem and bring the poem to the, to announce it. But now you're changing the way you do it. Like, guys, these like small changes, they can start big things. And about, having people around you that are going to question your current belief system, having different people with different views and different backgrounds. It's so they shift the way and the processes that you might do things, and you might have done something the long way around, for years, and then they come to do is just this and this and collaborate with these two people, and then you sort it, and you're like, my God, that's more energy, so much more creativity space for me to go and help with my charity or go whatever. And so that's the beauty of change, and that if you're going, I just don't have time to in Australia we've got a thing called Loaves, and you go and you help feed the homeless, so like beg, and you're just like kind of giving the meals and those sorts of things. At school they had it, which was great. And so say if you wanted to do that, but you go, I just don't have time, change your processes and your systems, and then you work out how to free up some time to do those sorts of things, and they would fill up your spiritual bank account, so it's important to constantly change.
Well, definitely. And I just want to add this in because sometimes like there are businesses that are very successful, and they tried something a long time ago that didn't work, and then somebody new comes in and says, oh well, we might want to try this. The challenge at that point in time becomes, is now the right time? Because maybe it didn't work then, but it might work now, and we won't know unless we try. So then it's like, so like an old dog can learn new tricks, right? If we're going to go to metaphors.
Yes.
But and companies live and die. They become their own entities, right? So that's where sometimes they have to decide, okay, we're going to try this new thing, or we're not going to try this new thing, and is it worth it? And sometimes it's totally worth it. A lot of times, I would say, and that's how we built that fulfilling life. I don't think there would be courage. When I talk to my friend Scott McKee, it's in the mess. That's where we live life. I mean, it's in the mess. That's where it happens, because when things are going smoothly and perfectly, if I weren't stretching myself next week, this is kind of exciting. Oh, I feel alive, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is going to be new.
Exactly. And that's the thing. If you're not feeling alive, you need to shift something. You need to have a jolt, a disruption of your. If you ever speak to someone and they have no life in them, almost see that they do everything like they do it. They do everything. It's almost like it's kind of really selfish in terms of, I do everything after me. I do everything I want to do. I never do anything that's out of my comfort zone. I never do anything that's going to like. And it's like, well, how the hell are you going to have a life if you don't do anything you don't like? Like things. There's this show we've been watching, Bear Grylls. He's taking these celebrities to these places, and it's like out of their comfort zones, and then they're feeling alive. But everything they're doing, Bear Grylls, that they didn't want to do, full stop. They had a mentor, they had a guide, they had someone. They didn't want to do any of that, but everything that they didn't want to do, they did, and they felt more alive, amped up. They were excited. Their whole being was alive, and you can see the transition by it, sort of, and then all of a sudden loud, and even I think it's interesting because the show goes, and then he will do something like overcome a challenge, and then you'll sit about their career and things like that, and you can see some of the actors kind of open up a little bit more through a challenging thing, or they've overcome something they didn't think they were going to overcome with him. And so homework is what thing are you going to jolt? What are you going to disrupt?
Yeah.
They talk about a thing called pattern disrupt. You want to have a pattern disrupt. Showing my toe right in front of the lens was a pattern disrupt, because podcast and see a crazy Aussie showing off his toe. So what's going to be that pattern disrupt? That disruption of your processes, of your routines, of what you do. That's going to then, like we just talked about, Angela doing a poem live. So maybe you prepare one poem, the poem live, and that's getting out of your comfort zone. So that's the homework today, folks. What do you think, Anne?
For real. I'm just trying to remember chapter 18, because we're going to be talking about next week. So this week's job is to go disrupt something, right? Try something new. And then next week's topic, the chapter heading is break it down method. So we'll be talking about the question that opens the chapter is, how do I sustain a higher purpose throughout the course of my life and not fall off the upward trajectory along the way? And that's a fantastic question. So that's what we'll be talking about next week. So that is where the poems will be going, is somewhere along that line. So you want to close this out, or you want me to?
No more toes for me. Close it out.
No more feet in the camera, huh? Okay. Okay. Well, I'm Angela Talent, Poems from a Lost Soul. This is Kyle, and host. Hold on, before we close out, I'm also the host of the Relatively Damaged podcast. Then we have Kyle Spreedes, author of Decide Your Destiny and custodian of the Decide Your Destiny movement. You found us right here, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere you can listen or see a podcast. We are there. So we will see you next week. Bye.